Hello, so it's time for a Q&A, which was quite a while ago since I did my last one. I asked for questions on my Twitter and you gave me really good questions. Not that many, but I had expected that since I asked them on Twitter and not my YouTube channel, because I don't have that many followers on my Twitter. I think many people haven't realized that I actually put my social links in the description. My Instagram, my Facebook and my Twitter are all down there. And I think I will do this from now on. Just it's so easy for me to just favor, favorite the tweets that ask me questions, and so easy to find later on. I need to do a Q&A, so this is my phone, by the way. So here we go. All right. First question from Emuwasu. What are you most passionate about? I guess that K-pop is one of your passions, but do you have any other passions? Well, one of them is organizing. I absolutely love organizing, if you haven't already noticed. There is something very calming. My head is often in a bit of a disarray, so having things around me organized like this just makes me calm. But I am a rather calm person in general, so for example, laying puzzles and all of that, I've always loved doing those things, like sitting there just calmly doing things. I don't know, it just calms me down, I suppose. Other things I'm passionate about, well, I have a bachelor in film studies. As many of you know, I have a master's degree in archival studies, but before that I got a bachelor in film studies, so I do love films overall. Do love watching films, especially action movies. I love going to the movies. And then of course love hanging around with my friends and my family, my parents. My parents are two of my closest friends, I'd have to say, as well as my other friends as well, yeah. And what am I more passionate about? Well, there's many things. Some things I don't share on this channel. For example, I love rock and metal. I don't share that much on my channel, mostly because this is mainly focused on K-pop. There is also another thing that have been a dream of mine for many years, since I was 14. I started to write a book. I came quite far, but as the year has gone by, it has still been in my head and evolved quite a lot with me growing over the years. I do wish that one day I could share it. Unfortunately, I don't really have time for it now as I work full-time. It would be a different thing if I one day were able to work full-time on my YouTube. But for now, it's kind of in a resting place. But I do hope that one day I will be able to finish it in some way and share it with you guys. But as it is now, I can't. But let's hope for it one day. Now it feels like I said something and you'll be wondering, oh, that much about it, and I don't mean to do that. It's just sharing a passion I have in mind, and that is writing. Alright, so second question. Blessosok ask, how about what you usually do when you're sad? Here's the thing, I don't think I react all that similar to many people. For me, I have been through what you would call it depression and social anxiety, social phobia. When I was younger, I went to therapy for it, and as you might notice, I have neither of those anymore. But from that I've learned, from getting up from a very dark place, is that deal with your problems. Don't push them away until they pretty much destroy you. Just deal with them right away. And that is what I do. For example, when someone has made me sad, I deal with it. I ask the person, did they mean to make me sad? What did they do? If I can't confront them, if it's just a random hatred, then I forget about it. I try to imagine myself why they would say something like that, and not just, oh, they're just jealous, because I feel like many people use that excuse when someone says something negative. Oh, they're just jealous. No, there could be many reasons for someone to throw their hate at you. It doesn't have to be jealousy. But they had a bad day and they want you to feel bad too, because that is what you usually want to do when you're really, really down. Just want to drag others down into the misery with you. And I try to think of it like that and not hold it against these people. I don't want anyone else to feel bad because of me. So just let them have out their aggressions, but then I don't have to take it. If, for example, someone comments something nasty about me, then I just delete it. And I don't have to think about it. And that person gets exactly what they don't want. They don't get any attention. And that's how I deal with most things. For example, some things, I mean, you have to be sad about. For example, if someone passes away, you have to take time to grieve. That is also one important thing. When something has gotten you really, really down, you need to take time to grieve it, but then you need to push yourself up again, so you don't stay down. And I do understand that it's not that easy to balance the two, but what I can say is, from my own experience, how I am the happy person I would like to say that I am today, is that I listen to myself. Sometimes, if something, I don't know what it is, has gotten me down, then I just think about it. What has gotten me down until I figure it out, and then I try to solve it. Sometimes, again, it could be someone who said something bad to you. If you can, or if you want to confront that people, then do so. But if you can't, then you can't let it drag you down, because then that other person is obviously winning, which is not just the feeling of hate consumes you so much that you stop living your own life and live your life through them instead, which is the exact thing you shouldn't do. I know it's very hard when you're really down to say that, oh, just push yourself up, because it's not easy, especially not when you're as far down as depression. It's really not easy. And you usually do tend to see the negative aspects of life much more than the positive ones. I mean, a lot of bad things happen to me too, but I tend to focus on the good things. And so I could actually say something when I was little. I mean, bad things happened to me. I was, teased, and I wasn't a popular kid. I was shy and, I was teased for being skinny. I mean, kids will bully you or tease you for anything. That's pretty much how it works. Most kids have had that experience, I'm sure. But I have forgotten many of these bad memories, actually. I didn't think I had, but my dad talked about one thing, like, oh, she said this to you. It's like, I couldn't remember that. I could remember nice memories with this person, but I couldn't remember the bad ones. You usually say that you sort out the good ones and only remember the bad ones, but for me it has been a bit of the opposite. My brain has felt like I don't need to remember how someone hurt me, because I am not hurt anymore. And so I prefer to remember something good, because the brain can only hold so much, and in these cases I think I'm the person that holds a lot of those good memories. The deeper down you are, the more of the bad memories you will remember. So again, it's not easy to pull yourself up, but it is possible. I'm a living example of it. However, it takes many years, and it took therapy for me. But you shouldn't, that's one thing, you shouldn't be afraid to talk to people that you trust. Now, I'm not saying you should talk to anyone that you've been a friend of for a minute and then they go spitting not so nice things to other people. But if there is someone you trust, like your parents, then talk to them. Because for me, when I was at my lowest, I didn't do self-harm like many people do. I wrote. It is an excellent thing to do, because then you're not self-harming. I actually opened my diary that I had. That's one idea you can do, is to take a diary and write down when you're really, really angry, really, really sad. You write down all the things you feel, because then in a way you feel like you're talking to someone without having to reveal any details for anyone. If you feel like you have no one to trust, then take a diary and write it in there. Or if you feel like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone, then write it in a diary instead. That's what I did. I still have the diary, and I opened it up, and it was such bad thoughts, and But I think it was a good thing for that moment. It was kind of a bit of a therapy. It helped. There's also one thing about people usually saying, now that I've had social anxiety and actually overcame it, I can say one thing that often people say, oh, push yourself into different situations and such, and you're terrified and it will get better. Sometimes that's not actually what it takes. Sometimes it's more of feeling comfortable in yourself, and you can start feeling comfortable in yourself in your own private space. Social phobia isn't always connected to the people around you. It is in many ways connected to yourself, the self-image you have of yourself. And for me, it has gotten better, and it got better actually during that time when I worked on it. I really loved manga and anime, and for some reason that felt a bit embarrassing to like those things as a grown-up, you know. But when I started to not deny those things within me, but say, oh well, there's nothing wrong with liking these things. These things are awesome. Just because someone else might not think that, let's convince them that they are. And if they don't feel like it is, then that's okay, but show your passion for it. Don't hide it. Same with K-pop. I think many people feel embarrassed when it comes to K-pop, listening to K-pop, and other people might judge them for it. Might have been a bit like that myself. I felt a bit judged, but instead I embraced it, and now the people around me can actually think it's cool and have seen my passion for it, and so accept it. They don't have to like it, but they've accepted that it's nothing uncool about it. It's just me, and that's it. And there's nothing to be judgmental about, because it's just what I love, and what you love should be what you love. It should not be taken away from you. So there will always be judgmental people. I know, especially during teen years, life is hard. There is a part of me that always goes a bit when people say, oh, teenagers don't have it rough. You'll just wait till you're an adult and it will get so much harder. No, it won't. I think sometimes people forget how teenage years was, when all the hormones were raging all over the place. You felt so much hate and love, and it was just... Teenage years are hard because of that reason. You feel like school, for example, is your whole life, and if you're not popular, then you feel like you're no one. But when you grow older, you realize that popularity didn't mean anything. It was just in school. After that, it was just fizzled out into nothing, and who you were all of a sudden allowed to be that person. I feel like sometimes people are way too harsh on kids and teenagers. I remember how it was. And I think many people do remember, but they don't want to remember. They just want to pour their hate out on a younger generation for their own failures, and that's not how it goes. Don't listen to those people. Life is what you make it, and they have obviously made it into a hating tirade against someone who's younger than them. It's not cool. But then again, everyone has hardships. Even when you're an adult, you have hardships. But to say that life gets so much harder, life is what you make it. It is what you make it. You can't say that just because you were a certain way when you were a teenager, that everyone is a certain way, because we're not. I've met extremely mature teenagers who were much mature than like 40-year-olds, and I met like the opposite. Everyone is an individual, and everyone has a different story. I don't feel like it is a good thing to judge others based on how you acted when you were younger. Now I just went on a completely different rant. I am sorry. Okay, so next question. Woo! What are your thoughts on K-pop fanfiction? Asks Mitch Lennon. What are your thoughts on K-pop fanfiction? I'm really curious to hear your opinion. Love you. Oh, thank you. Well, my thoughts is that I don't read it. Yeah. I don't have much to say about that. I'm not really into drama and romance. I don't watch K-dramas at all. So fanfiction is not something I read either. I wouldn't say I'm not a romantic person, but almost seems that way. Okay, so... Oh, another one from Bless Hosok. What do you think about people who compare this group with that group? I think comparison is just a natural thing for people to do. When, for example, a new group comes along, a lot of people compare to an older group, just for reference, I think. I don't think people want to be mean when they do it. They just do it because they want to somehow label this new group, which in a way is bad, but it's what we do as people, so we don't mean it in a bad way. Then of course you can mean it in a bad way. And I know a lot of people also get offended sometimes when someone compares a group to a very established group. They feel like they put them on the same level and then get really mad. But again, I don't feel like people do it just to disrespect one of the groups. They just do it for reference, to some way relate to that group. So I wouldn't consider it a bad thing, although it can turn into a bad thing, but I don't think people mean it as a bad thing. Gosh, I just went way overboard with that sad question, didn't I? Now I've just talked too much. But yeah, if you want to ask me more questions, you can do so on my Twitter. I'll put all the social links are always down in the description. And yeah, hopefully it will not take this long time between this and my next Q&A question. So, alright, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Bye!